Oh, that typical story. The blue belt against the black belt. The Daniel LaRusso against the Johnny Lawrence. Yes, it is the typical tale of the tape. So we've got something very interesting. We've got a blue belt going against a black belt in a competition scenario. And this happens quite often where you could be in a blue, white, or purple belt situation, even brown, and might not have anybody in that bracket, and they might put you up in the next level, which might be, again, if you're blue, it might be purple, purple might be brown. And this happens a lot. It could be weight too. It could be 155. Nobody's in your bracket. They'll put you at the 160. And sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes it's a bad thing. But we got someone here as a 155er, and we're going to watch him kind of go through the roles. Him going through some purple, browns, and blacks, and I want to get his take on it because I love nothing better than a silent killer. Not really. But let's go into it, you guys. If you haven't liked and subscribed already to the channel, this is where we break down different videos of competitions, scenarios, and real-world situations to see if they're really applicable and if they really make sense in the real world of life. All right, let's get into it. Let's have some fun. Let's go.
I'm just a blue belt, but I decided to challenge myself by entering the expert division. But there was no one in my weight class, so I got moved up and had to face purple, brown, and black belts that outweighed me. My first match is against a jacked purple belt. The match just started, but my opponent is already trying to finish it fast with a leg lock. He kicks me in the armpit, but my knee is free, so I start trying to come on top. He pushes me away, and for some reason, I decide to go for the flashiest armbar possible. He just rips out of it. This is definitely what I deserve after going for that. I can tell at this point that he's just trying to leg lock me. So as he comes up, I lock up a shoulder crunch, then use it to sweep him over into mount.
Nice, great
When doing
sweep.
the shoulder crunch, I like to push my elbow into their neck to help guide them over. I made a full guide on how to do this sweep, which I put in the link down below. I was in a good spot. That is, until my opponent pushes my ankle away, brings his knee inside, and starts going for a leg lock. This is where he wanted to be the whole match. I start trying to get my foot inside. I'm able to open up his legs, swat his arm away, and get up on top.
Get that knee
But my opponent does not want to stay down, so I start getting pretty aggressive. But it's for nothing, because he's still able to get up. I sit back down, but then this happens.
Oh!
Take a knee right to the eye, but I just have to shake it off and keep going. As he comes forward, I enter into a leg lock of my own. But he does a good job defending his right leg, so I push him away and switch to his left leg. I throw my leg over, grab his heel, and pull it across to get the tap with the heel hook. With that match won, it was time for my next match against Sebastian, a really flexible brown belt.
Oh, he was eager there. Not too much like to talk back on or like feedback on. I thought that roll was really good. Again, I believe he's rolling with a purple belt at this position or at this moment. So it's at 170. He's at 155. I can see the weight difference. He's a guard puller. I like it. Definitely does some berimbolo. Great moves off of it. So I want to show you guys something really quick and why it's really important to use your whole body. And I think this is where a lot of people excel in jiu-jitsu, because you might be hitting a plateau or you might be hitting something where things are really working for you. Just a quick tip. Make sure you're using your whole body. We really get fixated on either a limb, a joint, or a submission or a position. We really forget about the other parts of our body. And I use that analogy as like playing a drum, right? I can be playing my hi-hat and then I'm playing my snare at a different beat, like tap. So you can do if you train hard enough, you can get your body to do different things. But watch what he's doing here.
A leg lock.
Watch him use his body.
But my knee is free, so I start trying to come on top.
His body,
he pushes me away, and for some reason, I decide to go for the flashiest armbar possible.
I like how you did that edit there. But essentially, he's using his back and his torso to go in and out of position. So I really like that. And that's how he's able to get in those berimbolos and scrambles. It's a really good way for you to get out of things, to be honest with you, if you're able to move around in this kind of situation. Your flow is going to be really good, and you're going to be a great person to roll with. So far, pretty good. Let's see what the next one is.
Match against Sebastian, a really flexible brown belt. He starts off the match with some crazy footwork, but I'm able to get him into
the editing on this is so good.
Then I hit an arm drag and push him down to get on top.
That's a good
I start smashing down. He brings his leg over, then starts going for a normal plata.
That was like a
I
go-go
try
plotter.
getting my head in to avoid the shoulder lock, but he's too flexible.
Pull your arm out!
However, the weakness of the omoplata is that there's not much
Nice.
stopping me
I'll
from
show-
rolling with the pressure, so I start to roll. But Sebastian notices this and has a counter ready. He backsteps and looks for a triangle. This was not going well for me, but luckily I'm able to get my knee inside and start looking for a leg lock. I kick him forward. Then, as he turns, I grab a heel hook. Will I be able to get
Nice.
2 heel hook finishes in a row?
Woo!
Well, no. But I am able to get on top. I show him that he's not the only one who can move his legs around in a fancy way.
Tickle, tickle, tickle.
I grab his leg and he turns away, so I start smashing down. But he grabs an overhook on my arm. I'm afraid that this could turn into the same situation that happened before, so I had to be careful. I get around his hook, but he still has a knee inside. So I switch my hips and go knee on belly, but he turns away, so I start looking to take his back. I bring my leg across his hip, then grab his wrist to start taking his back.
Nice.
I'm so
Great
close to
grips.
getting it
Great
right now, but my
grips.
positioning is off. So I come up and bring my knee behind his back to take him over to the other side. Then I bring my other leg in as a hook, and I get 4 points for taking the
Nice.
back. I was up on points now, and I just had to get the submission. I stay here for a little bit looking for the choke, but he's able to roll out and escape.
The music's so good.
This is my face when I think about how even if I win this back and forth match, I'm still going to have to go against a black belt in the next one. But I have
Alright.
to forget about that and focus
I
on
think
the
you did
match
pretty
one
good on that
and
one.
reset.
So, 2 things I want to just mention on this right here. So, when he had this, when he was going for this omoplata here, our guy did a great job by addressing this one situation, and it's right here. Let's see if it's right here. And actually, the other one is over here. So essentially, when you get into an omoplata position, you have 2 options. You can either roll or you don't roll. And so this is what he's trying to do. He's trying to roll, but what's happening here is he's blocking, his opponent's blocking him with the trusted seatbelt blocker. The good old seatbelt blocker windshield wiper trick there. But essentially, he can't roll over. This is a prevention from him rolling over. But what is nice is he can do the backdoor escape, where he's going to put his hands on this leg, and he's going to shuffle right around, twinkle toes. But if you guys can see, and I did this on another video, when your opponent's feet, or leg, excuse me, are crisscrossed, and you're able to put your finger in between so they're not able to be flat, if that makes sense, right? We want to be able to crisscross so they're not able to go all the way around. Essentially, that's what he's doing here. He's got this point where his arm is going to go down in between. He'll push this down, and then he's going to slide back around, and this arm's going to go in between this leg. So that way, Sebastian, the guy on the bottom here, can't put that leg around and re-grip and re-guard. He's going to have this hand in the way. So let's go ahead and continue.
The
Watch
omoplata
him do
is that
that.
there's not
Watch, he
much
comes out the
stopping
back
me
door.
from rolling with
Exactly.
the pressure. So I
Now
start
he
to
could roll
roll
there.
But Sebastian notices this and has a counter ready.
See, yep,
he
there he
backsteps
goes.
and looks for a triangle.
Okay.
This was not going well.
Second
for me.
thing
Well,
I
luckily,
want to mention too is the where is it? Right here.
the same situation.
Well, I guess
bring
we'll
my
start.
leg across.
So
his
right
hip
when he brings his leg
and
across,
grab his wrist to start.
he grabs
taking
that
it
right
back.
there. It's almost like a gift wrap, if you will, but not
Start taking
really. It is a gift wrap essentially. But what's nice in this situation is you have one of his arms, and if you're able to get a leg over, you essentially have him tied up to the fact where he can't move, and then you have an extra free arm. So it is a good position. And to finalize it off, the guy had great cardio.
So close to getting it right now, but my
And I think that's how
positioning-
he was able to get one up on our guy. So let's do it, buddy.
170-pound black belt. That
170
puts on
against
some
155
heavy
black
pressure.
belt. Let's go.
I sit to guard. Then I connect my shin to his shin and start sliding under him. I'm really looking for that shoulder crunch. Louis like, nah, take this can opener. But I'm able to take advantage of his collar tie by lifting him up and grabbing a pinch headlock. But Louis does a really good defense. He brings his legs up and drives into my neck. This felt like a stalemate. He couldn't really escape from here, but it was also really hard for me to sweep him. So I started trying to off.
Hey, just so we're here, guys, I wanna address something. This is a common mistake, and right here, we've got the butterfly position, right? And our opponent has both of his hands under our neck. Here's the solution to this problem. Since he's got both his hands locked up, we've got both of our hands from the bottom come up. Now, since he's got his butterfly position as he goes, okay, so I want you to follow up. I'm going to go just like he is, okay? You're going to take your butterfly, just like he is. You're going to extend out, and the hand that he has right here, since it's so high, Louie's arms are like this. If you bring and flare up your elbows, Luis's arms are going to go from here to here. So essentially, when I bring him up, Luis is going to be this pencil. He's going to be like this. All I got to do is roll, kick up a leg. So if you're in this position, even though it's a stalemate, it's not. Lift him up, be perpendicular, roll to one side or the other. So if I'm on this side with my head on this side, I'm going to roll to the other side. But something to be key aware of, that butterfly is always available.
He brings his legs up and drives into my neck. This felt like a stalemate. He couldn't really escape from here, but it was also really hard for me to sweep him. So I start trying to off-balance him with my hooks. I lock up a shoulder crunch, but he starts putting even more pressure on my upper body. I was getting tired, and I really didn't know what to do. That is, until I remembered the words of John Danaher.
I don't care where you are, but I don't care where he is. The one part of the body which is always exposed is legs.
And that's what I do. I push on his armpits and enter into single leg X. I knew this match was going to be a grind. So if I could get the 2 points for coming on top here, I'd be in a good spot. But Louis gets an underhook on my leg, then starts smashing down.
No!
And before I knew it, we end up in the same position again.
Bruh.
I feel like the sweep really isn't happening from here, so I put him in close guard. But in retrospect, that was definitely a mistake. He brings his arm around my head and starts pulling me in. Let me tell you guys something. This sucked. My back was already bothering me before this match, and now I was just questioning why I decided to make jiu-jitsu my career. This was one of those weird positions I've never been in before, and I had to figure out a way to escape it. I started trying to get my hand in front of his face, but I realized that if I do that, he could go for an Americana, so I decided against it. I unlock my legs and start looking to take his back. So Louis brings his arm around to stop me. I was no longer getting crunched up into a ball, and I could go back to, oh my god. Try going for his scissor sweep, but nope, does not work. The pressure was getting more intense. Louis steps over my leg, and it looked like I was gonna get past. My arm was trapped, my spine was bent in a way it's not supposed to be, and all I had was this little butterfly hook. But he steps over that. It looked like it was over, until I bring my knee inside. I swing my hips to get him.
Nice.
Time was running out, and if I didn't act fast, he'd win the match. He stands up, so I grab both his ankles and hit a single leg X sweep.
Nice.
I was now up by 2. If he swept me back, he'd likely win the match. To secure the win, I had to pass his guard. But Louis is not making it easy for me. He keeps pulling down on my head and trying to get his foot inside, but the connection between my knee and my elbow stops him. I wasn't sure which pass to go for, but then I hear my corner.
Nice.
He turtles to defend, and as I take my leg out, he rolls, but I follow him, and we roll into the table. I start getting on top. I grab a crossface and pass his guard.
Solid.
Now there's only 20 seconds left, and I was up by 5. I just have to control him for these last 20 seconds. And that's how I won the expert division at Grappling Industries. Thanks to Louis for the match. I think he originally signed up for the Masters division, but we ended up getting merged together. If you guys enjoyed, make sure...
And that's what can happen. And that's why I said at the beginning, things happen in competitions where we don't really know what we're going to be facing against. But one thing I wanted just to mention, because everything he did, I think was solid, for his skill level, I should say, which I believe is very high, very high level. What I like about him is, and this is where I want to emphasize with you guys and why people are so high level and how they get there. And if you are looking for that next step in your jiu-jitsu game, is this. I know you're like, what is this guy? Always have a follow-up to a submission or a position, okay? So if you're in one position or if you're in one submission, submission, that's right. Always have 3 escapes or 3 outs to it. At least, okay? So if I'm in side control and I've got an arm, I know at least I could do a straight arm bar, Americana, or trying to think. Americana, Kimura. So I could at least do those 3. All right. If I really wanted to go like extra credit, I could do armbar or maybe wrist lock, like if I want to do extra credit. But my point there is every place that I want to be, I want to have a few options to be in there. And that's why I think our homeboy did a great job, and why he was so skillful and successful in this competition is because no one had an answer for all of his different different setups that he had. So Luis, for an example, what I think what happens, and this happens with me, I'm a pressure cooker. So they used to call me like Shotgun Scott. And what I would do is I would just unload my load in 3 minutes, and then I let the last 2 minutes and I would just glide through, because I would try to rack up all the points, try to go for all the submissions, and then if everything else failed, at least I was up, and then I would just try to survive. And most of the times it worked out pretty well. But what happened is until I hit like my purple belt, I noticed my guard game wasn't where I wanted it to be, because my top game has always been good, but my bottom game I know I could always improve on. So from purple belt to black belt, I just played guard. I played guard my whole time, and after I got my black belt, I went top side the full time, and now I've got a really good mesh of both I have a mesh of both stand up and takedown. And guard is what I meant. I'm not trying to give you accolades. What I'm trying to tell you is be prepared, because when you go to these competitions, you're going to have some different scenarios that are going to come up. For example, you might be in a different weight class. You might be in a masters. You might have to go down and not be in masters, depending on how many people show up and who don't. Depending on if you're in a kid's situation, you might have to roll with a girl. There's a lot of things can happen. So do I love competitions? Yeah, they're fun to do in the right scenario, in the right place. But also, I don't like them for that reason, because they never go as planned. I've had one competition. I think the competitions that I like are the big, like the fight to wins, the submission pro hunters, because they stick to the schedule. It's everybody's on time. It works. Things like this, when you have a local tournament, IBJF, things get behind, people miss weight, things happen. And then, before you know it, you're either 2 hours late or you missed your match. And, for spending $300-400, some guys that are traveling to Vegas, they're spending $2,000-3,000, and, you miss your match, or, someone didn't show up, or you got to move. There's a lot of scenarios that are in our control. But again, that's why competitions are good for us, because it is real life. That's real life. Things throw us a curveball. It's how we handle it. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video. And if you guys are in that scenario, just make sure you guys got your practice in, and make sure you do your rolls, and make sure you're getting your rest. All right. With that, love you guys. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.